I'm from India, which is very important. It's my roots. It's a huge part of who I am. But you don't get to decide who the fuck I am.
What's it like to be a rapper making massive hits charting around the world, who can claim 300 million views on a single music video?
Wait a minute, get it how you live it. 10 toes in when we standing on business. I'm a big stepper, underground methods.
And has worked with some of the biggest names in the music industry. Sooraj Cherukat, aka Hanumankind, is making a name for himself internationally, but he's also straddling really different worlds. So how does he think about his identity? And how did he go from working in finance to this?
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
So I wanted to start at the beginning, and I know that you were working at Goldman Sachs before pursuing your rap career. So do you think about the path that your life could have taken?
I think that was just one of the jobs that I had tried amongst so many others, honestly. I think that coming to music was just a part of me trying out different things, you know, whether it was right or wrong, legal or illegal, you know. I just had to try it out. But Goldman was, you gotta understand, it was in India. Working over there is very different than the Goldman that you would think outside. So I really was able to see how it is in terms of like pushing yourself and being in this environment that just extracts everything from you for so little, for peanuts, you know? So I was like, this is not what the fuck I wanna do.
From the subcontinental 1.3 bill, I trailblaze daily play point Dame Lil.
You said legal or illegal. You want to expand on that?
I've definitely dabbled in different spaces, you know, growing up and, you know, a lot of selling weed in college, but I feel like everybody did that, right? Like, I mean, just to get by, you know, it just showed me in that pursuit of that, of wanting to know what it is I want to do and who I am.
And were you always writing?
Yeah, since I was a kid, I always feel like I've always been inclined to the power of the word, right? And it's something that I've always drawn a lot of fascination to. It's something that I've always had growing up, and it helped me kind of ground myself.
When did you actually start performing with the stuff that you were writing?
Like I did a little bit here and there, but it was mainly like 2018, 2019 in Bangalore. It was a place for me to just let go, you know, like shake it off and be like, all right, this is my solace. So much I was doing at the time just didn't feel like I was actually doing what I didn't have purpose in my life. This is one space that I was able to do that, so that's what I did it for initially. And then it slowly started to culminate into something else, you know? So it started off as that place.
Was there a milestone where you were like, performing is my only thing now?
No, honestly, that only came recently. Like, until things like really kind of kicked off, I was always like, I don't know, maybe, you know, what if it's not, you know, because everything in my life has been so impermanent till then, right? It's always been on the move. It's here today, gone tomorrow. Like one day something feels like the world revolves around that, and then the next day it isn't. So I was perceiving this as that too.
Travel around the world so I don't settle with a smaller view. Rupees in my wallet, but I tell you what $1 do.
I know you moved around quite a lot when you were growing up. Where do you consider your true home, if you have one?
It's Kerala, India. Yeah, I was born there, right? And because of the time that I spent at home in India, taking the time to like recognize my roots and my background, but I have a lot of love for Houston, right? Which is a city that was just, you know, accepted me, and I fell in love with, you know, young when we moved there. So it was the closest thing that I had to home before I went out and found it by myself, you know?
Did you feel like because you were moving around so much, you had a bit of trouble establishing that kind of like national or cultural identity?
I mean, I just feel like I had trouble establishing any kind of identity for a while. It's like, either you're an outsider looking in or you're like an insider looking out, you know, like you caught in between two worlds, or worlds, not two for me, it's like multiple worlds. So I had to figure out my own version of what I thought home was, you know, which is like, it's not really a place or a set, you know, structure. It's like a feeling, right? That I can try and find in wherever I am. I had to do that so that I kind of don't lose myself.
How do you think that you see yourself? Is it still kind of tricky to think about identity?
I'm a citizen of the world. That comes with the territory of me being from all over the place. I'm a mutt, you know, but like that don't mean that it's like you can't stand for the places that shaped me and made me, right? The experiences that made me so That's my identity, man.
I'm a mutt too, so I feel that.
I'm perfectly fine with it, you know? Mutts gotta unite. Take over the world, you know?
100%.
That's where it's at.
Damn, son, yeah, I'm brown and handsome. Yeah, your boy stay fresh to death, no matter what the brand, son.
You describe yourself as a rapper from India, not an Indian rapper. Like, what's the distinction?
Whenever people put Indian in front of anything, especially in the outside world, right? Indian music, Indian movies, Indian food, Indian culture, whatever it is, there's a set way that people see things. There's stereotypes that are enforced, you know? And for me, I was just like, and I know this, I've seen it. I've seen how people automatically put you in a box. I'm from India, which is very important. It's my roots. It's a huge part of who I am. But you don't get to decide who the fuck I am, right? And also specifically in India, there's like, within the country, it's not just one monolith, right? There's, from the north to the south to the east to the west, there's so many different languages, cultures, states, and each state has their own background and rich traditions and cultures and the way that they look and perceive things and the way that they even speak about things, right? I'm not gonna let nobody, you know, define that as one, you know, one big unit. Like, there's so much more to it. So that's what I meant with it.
So between like the US and say India, do you feel more embedded in one music scene or the other?
No, I don't feel embedded in anything. Yet I have, you know, rooted perceptions on things and I incorporate certain elements into my music, but that just comes naturally because of where I am in my life. And also with the people that I work with, you know? Because I've been doing a lot of traveling as of late, man, we just been, you know, traveling the world, being blessed to be able to see different people, countries, languages. At the end of it, I can't help but sound like a dude from Houston because that's like what made me, you know what I mean? The city, it shapes you and has created that sound and style for me that's so important. And I can't help but also like, you know, be a brown boy from the south side of India. Like, it is exactly who I am. But it's also like we're trying out different sounds every step of the way.
Do you reckon you see yourself as like opening up a space in people's minds for more Indian artists in the global hip hop scene?
Yeah, sure. I feel like I still have a long way to go and lots more to do in order for me to really get to where I think I can really, really bring about that change. But there's more people who are like me, you know, from my side of the world. And like I said, we will continue to strive and push and try out whatever the fuck it is we want to. If I can bring that in any sort of way, I know the difference that it could make, you know? But I also feel, and I trust in the grit and the tenacity of my people because of our background and our history, to even without someone like me, even without this idea of it, we will figure it out, you know? That's my people. That's where we're from.
So run it up, the sun is up. To run it down, get your money up.
So I feel like right now, forefronting your heritage in music and performances is really resonating with audiences. I'm thinking of like Bad Bunny's Super Bowl performance, and I've seen the comments on your YouTube videos. It feels like it kind of doesn't matter where people are from. People are just happy to see people be proud of their heritage.
Yep.
And I wonder, why do you think that's hitting so hard right now?
I just think that good music is good music. Like, there's no limitations. It can cross borders. Like, I can listen to music in Spanish, right, and still be able to connect with the feeling and the energy and the message that they're trying to say, right, without knowing what they're saying, without having any context. So I feel like the same can be done with Malayalam music, with Punjabi music, right, with Tamil music, with Hindi music. That's all from, you know, our side of the world. The only genre is greatness. If it's able to do that, it just means the music was powerful enough to do that. It's a testament to the energy and the love and the power that people pour into their art. And that's what you're seeing is naturally happening.
Well, congratulations on Monsoon Season. It's been nearly a year, I think, since you released it. One of the biggest singles from that was Run It Up. I guess I wanted to ask about that song. Like, what does it mean to you?
That's a song that we made experimenting, trying different sounds out, right? But the drums, the energy, even the pockets that we're hitting over there are like deeply infused with where I'm from. The chendas and the dols that are also used, which are the drums that are used on the tune, are things that I grew up with, right? Going to see melams and like whether it's like a Thrissur Puram or different festivals that happen in Kerala. My dad used to literally take me out and for these things because he's a huge fan of it. It was a way for me to connect to my pops, you know, because I have a, you know, strained relationship in that sense. It has all the elements that I feel that tie into, you know, who we are. Yeah. And you see it on the visuals too. The visuals, shooting the visuals for that was fucking process. Yeah. Yeah.
No one to follow, it's just you and me. I swear that it's coming, we starting today, but we wake up tomorrow and things are the same. Damn.
I mean, speaking of family relations, it seems like there's a bit of maybe cultural tension there. Is that the kind of feeling? Do your family understand what you do?
They don't, but it's not their job to, you know. Like, they understand that I care about them. You know, I take care of them now. They come from a different generation, a different time, and a different background. My parents were raised in Kerala, right, from a very different environment and different beliefs. So for me to expect them to understand everything I do would just lead me nowhere. I had the luxury and privilege to actually learn about being mindful, right, to learn about, you know, breaking these cycles and chains and generational weight that we've been carrying, right? I don't think they did. I think we need to give folks from that time grace to recognize that, because they didn't have that. They just did the best they could. The best you can do is like work on you, and then you can, you know, if you can find that space, you try and give it to them as well.
What's life like now after Big Dawgs? Do you feel the fame or success?
Yes and no. A lot has changed, and especially living in India, like it does, you know, I do have to move a certain way. There's a lot of things that I have to be aware of and be careful about, because, you know, comes with the territory. But I also like take the time to like remember that really at the core root of it all, nothing really has changed. Like, but I'm learning to like take the responsibility of all these changes, because when you do have a voice and you do have this kind of a space that not too many people get to, it's like, what do you do with it? What is it that you want to do with it? That is the responsibility, right?
Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today.
I appreciate you having me. All right, thank you.
I used to fight the bullies, now I'm fighting with the law. I guess some things only